Hi, boys and girls. It's Mrs. Wilder. I'm going to read this book again to you. I know I read it to you this week, but I wanted you to have practice singing our little song, our turn the page song, which is a fish out of water. A fish out of water. We sing it twice. A fish out of water, a fish out of water. Can you sing it with me? A fish out of water, a fish out of water. Thank you. You did a great job. And this is a super silly book, so I thought you'd enjoy reading it again. So this is Otto. I'm sure you remember Otto. And this is the boy with Otto. And some of you made a prediction based upon this picture that Otto was going to grow and grow and grow. And this is Mr. Carp, the other one of the other characters in our book. This little fish, I said to Mr. Carp, I want him. I like him and he likes me. I will call him Otto. A fish out of water, a fish out of water. Now, every time I turn the page, we're going to sing our turn the page song, okay? Very well, said Mr. Carp. Now, I will tell you how to feed him. But then Mr. Carp told me, when you feed a fish, never feed him a lot. So much and no more, never more than a spot, or something may happen, you never know what. A fish out of water, a fish out of water. Then I took Otto home. I gave him some food. I did not give him much, just one little spot. But this did not make Otto happy. He wanted more food. He had to have more. Poor Otto. He just had to have more. A fish out of water, a fish out of water. Oh no, he gave him the whole box. I knew what Mr. Carp had told me. Never feed him a lot, never more than a spot, or something may happen, you never know what. But I gave Otto all the food in the box. A fish out of water, a fish out of water. Then something did happen. My little Otto began to grow. I saw him grow. I saw him grow and grow. Soon he was too big for his little fishbowl. A fish out of water, a fish out of water. There was just one thing to do. I put Otto in the flower bowl. There, Otto, I said, this will hold you. But no, the flower bowl did not hold him. Otto went right on growing. This was not funny at all. His tail was growing right out of the top. A fish out of water, a fish out of water. I grabbed the flower bowl. I ran with it. Otto, I said, I know just where to put you. Then you will be all right. I put him in a big pot, but Otto was not all right. I saw him grow some more. Very soon he was too big for the pot. A fish out of water, a fish out of water. I put him in pot after pot. He was growing so fast. Poor Otto! My poor little fish! Oh, why did I feed him so much? Otto, I said, stop growing, please. But Otto could not stop growing. He was growing all the time. Very soon I ran out of pots. A fish out of water, a fish out of water. Otto had to have water. There was just one thing to do. I did it. I grabbed him. I grabbed him by the tail. I ran up with him, up to the tub. The tub is big. It can hold lots of water. A fish out of water, a fish out of water. At last, there, Otto, I said. This tub holds my father. This tub holds my mother, so it will hold you. A fish out of water, a fish out of water. But the tub did not hold him at all. He went right on growing. Oh, Otto, I said, what can I do now? Remember, some of you made a prediction that the water might go down or they might go down the stairs. Remember that? A fish out of water, a fish out of water. And here our prediction came true. Then crash, the door went down. Crash, Otto went down. I went down too. Oh, what a ride. A fish out of water, a fish out of water. Who do you think he's going to call? Do you remember from the story? Down went the water into the cellar. What does the word cellar mean? What was another word for cellar? Basement, you're right. And lots of you got that. And down went Otto too. I had to do something fast. I grabbed the phone. A fish out of water, a fish out of water. If you said he called a policeman, you were right. I called a policeman. Help, help, I said. I fed my fish too much. Mr. Carp told me not to, but I did. What? Said the policeman. Mr. Carp told you not to, and you did? Too bad. I will come at once. The policeman came. My fish went that way, I said. He's down in the cellar. or the basement, you could say as well. A fish out of water, a fish out of water. The policeman ran down with me. What a fish, he said. He is much too big to keep in the cellar. We will have to get him out of here. A fish out of water, a fish out of water. We had to work and work to get Otto out. Poor Otto. Why did I feed him too much? Mr. Carp told me something would happen, and it did. It did. A fish out of water, a fish out of water. Now we had to get Otto out of the cellar, but now Otto had no water at all. A fish has to have water, I said to the policeman. We must take him to water. Get help. Call for help on the radio. Now we made a prediction on who they would call. Do you remember who they called? They called the firemen. You're right. Great job. The policeman called on the radio. He called for the firemen. Help, help, he said. A boy has fed a fish too much. A boy has fed a fish too much? We will come at once. A fish out of water, a fish out of water. The firemen came. They all helped to get Otto up. But where can we take him? I asked. Uptown? Downtown? A fish out of water, a fish out of water. To the pool, yelled the fireman. To the pool, I yelled, and please hurry. A fish out of water, a fish out of water. They did hurry. The fire truck with Otto came right up to the pool. The fireman yelled, everyone get out of the pool. This fish is going in. A fish out of water, a fish out of water. Down into the pool went Otto, into the pool with a big, big splash. Now I was happy. Now at last my Otto had water. Lots of water. This big pool was just the thing. This big pool would hold him. A fish out of water, a fish out of water. But Otto went right on growing. And no one wanted Otto in the pool. They did not like Otto at all. You take that fish out of here, they yelled. A fish out of water, a fish out of water. There was just one thing to do. I did it. I ran to the phone. I called Mr. Carp. Please, please help me, I said. I fed Otto too much. Oh dear, said Mr. Carp. So you fed him too much. I knew you would. I always say don't, but you always do. Yes, I will come. A fish out of water, a fish out of water. Then Mr. Carp came. He had a black box in his hand. He had lots of other things too. What are you going to do, Mr. Carp? I asked him, but Mr. Carp said nothing. He just went right up to the pool. A fish out of water, a fish out of water. He took his black box with him and all the other things too. Splash! Mr. Carp jumped into the pool. A fish out of water, a fish out of water. Splash! Now Otto went down too. All I could see was his tail. I could not see Mr. Carp at all. What was going on down there? What were they doing there in the water? A fish out of water, a fish out of water. Now I could see nothing, not Otto, not Mr. Carp, nothing at all. Would I see my Otto again? Would I see Mr. Carp again? Mr. Carp, I yelled. What are you doing? Are you all right? A fish out of water, a fish out of water. Then up jumped Mr. Carp, and his hand was a little fish bowl. In the bowl was my Otto. Mr. Carp had made him little again. Don't ask me how I did it, he said, but here is your fish. A fish out of water, a fish out of water. And from now on, said Mr. Carp, please don't feed him too much. Just so much and no more. A fish out of water, a fish out of water. Now that is what I always do. Now I feed Otto so much and no more, never more than a spot, or something may happen, and now I know what. A fish out of water, a fish out of water. I hope you enjoyed that book again. Have a wonderful day.